The blind date was a setup to humiliate him. But the CEO's daughter said, "I want him." He sensed it before he even reached the table. The hush, the muffled laughter, the prickling along the back of his neck that told him something ugly waited on the other side of the dimly lit restaurant. Ethan Hale moved carefully, one hand brushing the edge of a chair, while the other held the small white cane folded in his pocket. He didn't need it right now. He could navigate by sound, by steps he had memorized, by instinct sharpened from years of pretending that losing his sight hadn't broken anything inside him. But the laughter, that told him everything. They had planned something. He heard Mason's voice, the colleague who insisted on arranging this blind date, who swore the girl was amazing, kind, smart, and totally into guys like you. Man. Now Mason's tone dripped with amusement, barely contained. "Ethan, over here," Mason called aloud, and the snickers grew louder. Ethan walked anyway. He had humiliated himself before, when he lost his vision in the accident, when his fiancée left because she couldn't spend her life guiding a man who couldn't even look at her. Compared to that, whatever Mason planned would barely sting. But then he heard her, a soft breath, a shift of fabric, the kind of silence that held tension, not cruelty. And his world didn't just change, something shook loose inside him. "Hi," she whispered, her voice warm and steady despite the mocking audience. "I'm Arya." The laughter faltered because she wasn't laughing, because her tone held no disgust, because she sounded sincere. He could almost hear Mason stiffen. This wasn't the script. Ethan sat slowly. "I'm Ethan." "I know," she said, and he could hear the smile. "And before you say anything, I'm glad you came." He tilted his head. "You don't sound like someone participating in a joke." "I'm not," she said, voice lowering. "I didn't know they set this up to embarrass you. But I do now." Her chair moved. She leaned closer. He felt her breath against his cheek. "And I'm staying." The restaurant suddenly went quiet, offended. Confused silence because no one expected the CEO's daughter, the woman everyone envied and desired, the heiress to Reynolds Tech, to defend a blind man like him. But she wasn't defending. She was choosing. Arya reached for his hand, and even though his heart slammed against his ribs, he didn't pull away. "They don't get to decide what I want," she said. Then even softer, "I want him." The air outside bit cold against his skin when they left the restaurant together. They hadn't eaten. They hadn't needed to. The moment Arya stood up and announced loudly enough for every mocking co-worker to hear, "Ethan, let's go get real food," the room split, half in shock, half in disbelief. Now they walked side by side, her arm occasionally brushing his, and the city hummed around them. "You don't have to stay," he murmured. "Do you want me to go?" she asked. "No," he admitted. "Good, because I'm not leaving." They ended up in a small, quiet cafe, and Arya guided him gently to a chair. Not controlling, not patronizing. Just aware, caring. It was unnervingly new. When she finally asked, "Ethan, who hurt you like that?" something inside him cracked. He didn't tell the whole story. Not the crash that stole the lights from his world. Not the fiancé who shoved the ring back into his hand 3 weeks later. Not the co-workers who treated his success at the firm like a fluke, like charity instead of merit. But he said enough. Arya listened like each word mattered. When he finished, she reached out, slowly so he could sense the movement, and touched his hand with hers. "You don't deserve any of that," she said. "You deserve respect. You deserve someone who sees you." "Ironic," he whispered, "considering—" "No," she interrupted softly. "You see more than they ever will." He didn't know what to do with that. He didn't know what to do with her. But something warm bloomed where cold had lived for so long. Outside, the world was shifting without his permission. And for once, he didn't mind. The messages started the next morning. First Mason, "Dude, didn't think she'd pity you like that." Then, "Bro, she's the CEO's daughter. She'll get bored. And worse, she's out of your league. Don't get delusional." Ethan ignored all of them. He couldn't ignore the knock on his apartment door. "Arya." She laughed softly when he opened it. "You look surprised." "You're here," he said, stunned. "I told you I wasn't leaving." She stepped in, and from the gentle shift in the air, he knew she was carrying something. "I made breakfast," she said sheepishly. "Well, Attempted it. You can absolutely lie to me and say it's good. He smiled, actually smiled, and she gasped, like it was the most radiant thing she'd ever heard. Arya, he began, you barely know me. I know what I want, she said, echoing last night's words. Then with a breath, and I know you're worth knowing. No one had ever said that to him. Not like this. With conviction. He swallowed hard. I don't want to be a charity case. You're not. Her tone sharpened, fierce, protective. If anything, I'm the one hoping I'm not wasting your time. You're the most sought-after woman in the city, he said incredulously. And yet I'm standing in your apartment, she replied. Doesn't that tell you something? He didn't have an answer. She took his hand again. No hesitation, no fear. But the world wasn't done testing them. That afternoon, the entire company buzzed with rumors. By evening, someone leaked photos, grainy shots of Arya touching his hand, leaving the restaurant with him, smiling at him like he was the only person alive. And then came the cruelty. Anonymous posts, memes, comments. She's slumming. He's using her for status. Probably milking the pity angle. He can't even see her, pathetic. Arya saw the posts before he did. She came to him shaking, angrier than he imagined she could be. They don't know you, she said. They don't know anything. He exhaled slowly. They're not wrong. She stepped closer, voice trembling. Don't say that. Don't you dare let them make you small. He swallowed the lump in his throat. Arya, I can't give you the things they can. The world is built for people like you. No, she whispered, touching his face. The world is built for people who pretend to be more than they are. You're real. You're honest. You're unshakable even when they try to break you. I'm not unshakable, he said. You are to me. He didn't kiss her. She didn't kiss him. But the space between them held something terrifyingly close to a promise. Still, rumors grew. The board whispered. Her father, the CEO, noticed. And then Ethan got the email. Brief cold. Reynolds Tech will be terminating your contract. Effective immediately. The reason? Interpersonal conduct affecting corporate perception. He didn't need eyes to know the truth. They wanted him gone, because Arya wanted him. Ethan didn't answer the knock that evening. Arya's voice filtered through the door, soft, worried. Ethan, please. Open the door. When he finally let her in, she froze. She didn't need words to understand the guilt on his face. They fired me, he said quietly. Her breath hitched. What, why? You know why. No, she hissed. No, this is wrong. This is manipulation, this is... Arya, your father has a company image to protect. She stared at him, wounded. And you think you are the problem? You deserve someone who fits your world. I choose who fits my world, she said through clenched teeth. And it's you. He shook his head. You're risking too much. She grabbed his hands, gripping hard. Then let me risk it. Let me fight for you, for us. Arya. No, tears threatened her voice now. Ethan, don't push me away because you think you're protecting me. His chest tightened painfully. I don't want to ruin your life. You're saving it. The silence between them trembled. Then she said it. I love you. Ethan felt the ground tilt. He had been mocked, pitied, abandoned, but never loved. Arya. His voice cracked. I don't know how to be what you need. She stepped into him, guiding his hands to her cheeks so he could feel her shaking breath. Her truth. You're already everything I need, she whispered. And something inside him shattered, quietly, beautifully. He pulled her into him, arms trembling. And she held him like she'd been waiting her whole life for that moment. Outside phones buzzed. Rumors spread. The city whispered. But she didn't care. He didn't care. The world had tried to humiliate him. But she had chosen him again. And again until there was no space left for doubt. Later that night, Arya texted her father just 2 words. I'm done. She resigned her inheritance claim, her board observer status, and every corporate leash attached to her name. Her father called, furious. Her response was quiet, steady. I'd rather build a life with Ethan than inherit an empire built on fear. Ethan heard none of the call, but he heard the tears in her breath afterward. You really gave it all up, he whispered. She smiled, pressing her forehead to his. I didn't give anything up. I finally chose something for myself. And what's that? He asked, barely breathing. You. The words wrapped around him like light, and this time he didn't run from it. He held her. He believed her. And for the first time since the world went dark, Ethan felt seen. But the world wasn't done testing the boundaries of their resolve. 2 days later, Ethan received an unexpected call from an unknown number. He hesitated before answering, but the voice on the other end was unmistakable, deep, commanding, and cold. "Ethan Hale, this is Marcus Reynolds, Arya's father." Ethan's pulse slammed in his ears. "I assume you know why I'm calling," Marcus continued. "My daughter has made reckless decisions." Ethan stayed silent. "I want you to understand something," Marcus said. "Arya is emotional, impulsive. She thinks she's in love. But this you and her, it won't last. I've seen men like you before, angry at life, desperate for a way up. Don't take advantage of her." Ethan's jaw locked. "I've never taken anything from her." "Oh, but you have," Marcus said coldly. "Her future." Before Ethan could respond, Arya walked in, overhearing enough to grab the phone from his hand. "Dad," she said, voice trembling with fury. "One more word and I'm blocking you." Marcus tried to speak, but she hung up, sharp, merciless. Then silence. Ethan could hear her breathing unevenly, fighting tears. "You didn't deserve that," she whispered. "He's wrong. He's so painfully wrong about you." "Arya." She moved closer, hands gently holding his face. "Ethan, listen to me. I'm not going back. I'm not choosing money or image or a name. I'm choosing you. I'll keep choosing you." He swallowed hard, overwhelmed. "I don't know what I can give you." "Everything," she said softly. "You give me everything." As she leaned into him, Ethan realized something powerful, something frightening. The world had taken his sight, but it was giving him something back, something he never thought he'd have again. A future he could feel, not see. A future built on the warmth of her hands, the certainty of her words, the unwavering truth of her heart. And as Arya rested her head against his chest, whispering, "You're my choice. You'll always be my choice," Ethan finally let himself believe it. For the first time in years, he wasn't walking in darkness. He was falling into light.